Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're looking at something that I think we can all relate to, and that's the idea of time as a villain.
Mm.
You know how sometimes it feels like time is working against us, like it's this
Oh, yeah.
unstoppable force that just keeps ticking away no matter what we do.
Absolutely.
Well, I was listening to this podcast, Food for Thought, and the host brought up this quote by author Ron Jackson,
Okay.
and it really got me thinking. He said, "Time is a villain that can't be captured."
Oh, wow. That's,
It's kind of a chilling thought, right?
yeah, it is.
But it's also something that I think a lot of us feel on a deep level.
For sure.
So let's unpack this idea a bit and see what we can learn from it.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I mean, the first thing that jumps out at me from that quote is this sense of helplessness.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
time is this powerful enemy, and we're just these tiny little
Right.
creatures trying to outrun it.
Yeah, we're constantly trying to catch up.
Exactly, and it feels like we're always falling behind.
And you know what? I think that feeling is amplified in today's world. I mean, with all the technology
Yeah.
and the constant pressure to
Like,
achieve.
be productive.
It's
Like, there's never enough time.
Right.
We're always rushing to the next thing.
And it's always like there's more to do.
Yeah, and then there's this whole fear of missing out thing.
Oh, yeah. FOMO.
You know, we're constantly seeing everyone else's highlight reels on social media.
Right. And we're like, am I doing enough?
And it just adds to this feeling like we're not doing enough.
Exactly.
And, you know, the host of Food for Thought brought up another point about time that really resonated with me.
Okay.
He talked about how time inevitably takes things away from us.
It does.
And it's not just material possessions,
Yeah.
it's opportunities, experiences,
Mm.
even relationships.
Yeah, I mean,
Sometimes you grow closer to people over time, but sometimes you drift apart.
you do. It's true.
And it's not always easy to deal with, but it's part of life.
It is.
You know what I mean?
I do. Absolutely.
Like, think about how your friendships have changed over the years.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
It's not always a bad thing, but it's definitely a reminder that things are always in flux.
Absolutely. And I think that's a good thing to remember because it helps us appreciate the present moment even more.
Hmm.
You know, understanding that everything is temporary, even the good times, makes us value them more while they're happening.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So instead of always fighting against time,
Right.
maybe there's a way to embrace the fact that it's constantly moving.
Exactly.
Because the host of Food for Thought made this really interesting shift in perspective. He said that instead of trying to defeat time, we should focus on how we react to it.
I like that.
Like, how can we make the most of the time that we do have?
Yeah, that's the key question, isn't it? And it reminded me of something from Stoic philosophy.
Oh, okay.
You know, the Stoics believe that we can't control external events like the passage of time, but we can control our internal responses to those events.
So it's not about stopping time.
No.
It's about choosing how we experience it.
Exactly. It's about finding that inner peace
I like that, yeah.
and living in alignment with nature, as they say.
So what are some practical things that people can do to start being more present and intentional with their time?
Well, there's a lot of different techniques out there, but one that I find really helpful is the 5-4-3-2-1 method.
What's that?
It's a simple grounding technique that helps you focus on the present moment.
Okay.
Basically, you just take a moment to notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste.
Oh, I see.
It's a great way to shift your attention away from your thoughts and back to your senses.
That's really cool. I'm going to try that one.
Yeah, it's easy to do, and it can make a big difference.
And, you know, Food for Thought also made the point that while time can feel like an enemy, it can also be a powerful motivator.
That's true.
It's like knowing that our time is limited
Yeah.
can actually push us to pursue our passions and make the most of every moment.
Yeah, it's like that old saying, you don't know what you've got till it's gone.
Exactly. And in economics, there's this concept called opportunity cost,
Right.
which basically means that every choice we make comes with a trade-off.
For sure.
So if we choose to spend our evening binge watching TV, we're giving up the opportunity to maybe work on a creative project or connect with loved ones.
Exactly.
So it's really about being intentional with our time, recognizing that every moment is valuable,
Yes.
and making choices that align with our values and goals.
It all comes down to that.
And sometimes that awareness of time's limitations can be the push we need to finally
Yeah,
break free from procrastination and
absolutely.
start pursuing the things that really matter to us.
It's like a wake-up call.
Exactly. Like, hey, time is ticking. What are you waiting for?
And that can be a really good thing.
It can be. It can
It
be.
can push us to do amazing things.
Yeah. So it sounds like finding that balance between respecting time's power and not letting it control us
Yeah.
is really the key.
It is. It's a delicate balance.
It is. It is.
But it's worth striving for.
Well, this has been a really thought-provoking conversation, and I think it's given us a lot to chew on.
It has.
So as you continue to explore this idea of time as a villain, and maybe even as a motivator, here's something to think about.
Yeah.
Remember that quote by Ron Jackson, "Time is a villain that can't be captured."
Yeah.
Well, what if instead of trying to capture time, we focus on creating experiences that capture us?
Ooh, I like that.
It's one thing you want to experience, one memory you want to create before time slips away unnoticed.
That's a great question to ask yourself.
It is, and let that be your guide as you navigate this journey of life.
It's all about making those memories, isn't it?
It really is. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep exploring.
See you next time.